Hey everyone, it's Jim, and today we could have a quick discussion about mental health. Now, I know this isn't unique to the game dev industry, but I do see a lot of comments in my Discord and on YouTube about maintaining mental health when working in the game industry. And I don't think it's any mystery as well that the game dev industry tends to be a little bit more fast-paced, a little bit more competitive, and with that comes an increased need to maintain positive mental health. And this is something that I'm very passionate about, and I talk about a lot on my channel and in my Discord. So I just wanted to go over a few topics and hopefully provide you some tools to better maintain your mental health and keep a better balance in your life. So the first question is, how do I get comfortable with good enough? Now, a lot of times we have this grand vision for our projects. We have this idea where everything is perfect and the game is exactly the way that it is in our head. And in any game, this is just not realistic. We don't have unlimited time. We don't have unlimited budgets. You have to find a place to draw the line and say, this meets the requirements of the project and we're ready to ship, or we're ready to do a demo, or ready to show to some playtesters. And there really is no line for this, but what I typically like to say is when I get things to 80%, that's when I'm ready to show my game to the world. Now, that 80% is really hard to measure, which is why I think it's really important that every game developer, even if you're just working on a solo project, you create a task list. And this is just a list of everything that you want to be in your game, everything that needs to be done. You can use a tool like Trello. You can even just keep a Word document of everything that you would like to have in your game and cross things off as you complete them. And this will really help you gauge the overall progress of your game. And there is some psychological benefits to using something like a Kanban board where you're moving those tasks between the buckets. And it does give you a sense of accomplishment where you are checking things off of the list one by one. So I highly recommend using a task list and just write out everything you want to be in your game. And then it'll help you understand that you're making progress, and it'll also help you kind of gauge where that 80% is so you can start feeling more comfortable showing your project to friends or family or even online. And the next question that I have seen recently is, how do I stay motivated after finishing a big project? Or really, how do I stay motivated at all? And my advice for this one is to develop a roadmap. And what this is it's a list of goals that you're going to try to put in sequential order. So the first goal may be finishing a demo project, or maybe it's launching your first game, or maybe it's just completing your first game jam. But what this roadmap should be is a list of all the things that you want to accomplish in the next year or 2 years or even out to 5 years. And this will help you stay focused on the long-term goals for yourself. So develop that roadmap, write out all of the things that you would like to accomplish first, and then try to put them in some order that makes sense for you and your schedule, and then assign some deadlines to each of those roadmap items. Now, sometimes those deadlines may add a level of stress, so really what they are is kind of a loose idea of where you want to be at each checkpoint for the next few years. And you should constantly be checking in on this roadmap and reassessing and trying to understand, how are you doing to meeting your goals? Do you need to readjust them? Is there some other goal that needs to come first? For instance, if you were going to try to launch your game and maybe there's some skill gap that you notice while developing, you may want to put another roadmap item to complete a course to learn that new skill set, and then you can come back to that project further down on the roadmap. And I think having your goals laid out like this is a really good tool for staying motivated and keeping an eye on the big picture. And this is another question that I've seen, and it's how do I know when I'm ready for a team project? Or how do I know when I'm ready to move on past beginner tutorials and start building towards something bigger? And my first advice for this is you're ready before you think you are. If you're one of those people that needs to feel confident in doing things, then maybe take a little bit more time. But in most cases, the risk is really low. You can always back out of a project if it's not working for you. You can always do it as a learning experience to understand maybe some skill gaps that you have. But my recommendation is to start working on team projects as soon as you can, as soon as you feel generally comfortable in the game engine of your choice or developing the types of games that you want. And another point of advice here that I usually give is the first time you're working on a team project, don't try to make it your own project. It's actually way more beneficial to try to get onto a team where maybe there's some people that are more senior than you, and you can use this as a mentorship to continue to build your skills and learn from someone that has a little bit more experience and can pass on some of their knowledge to you. I think a lot of solo devs or indie devs have an idea for the game that they want to make, and they really tend to get tunnel vision on that game, and they lose sight of just the learning journey and building out a bigger skill set than just the ones that you need for the game that you want. So typically what I recommend is take a few beginner courses, work on a few prototypes, maybe do a game jam, and then you're probably ready to start working on a team. It depends on the person. Each person's schedule is different. Each person's learning ability is different, but this is probably going to be between 6 months and a year of when you start to learn, maybe even sooner if you're a fast learner and you have a lot more time to work on your skills. But I think it's really never too early, and you can always learn from every experience, even those projects that fizzle out or fall apart. And there's one more topic that I wanted to talk about really quickly, and that is imposter syndrome. Now, for those of you that haven't heard this term before, essentially what it means is that when you're learning a new skill or you're trying to get into a new industry, you tend to have this feeling that everyone else is much better than you, everyone else knows more than you, and that you're a fraud, you're faking, you don't actually know what you're doing. I think especially in today's day and age where people are learning a lot more skills online and they're not using formal education to learn skills, this is very common. And the best advice I can give you here is that everyone has imposter syndrome. Well, maybe not everyone. Maybe there are those uber confident people that just know that they're the best at everything and they have no problem jumping into a new task. But if you really talk to people, I think most people have this feeling that they're a fraud and that someday people are going to figure it out and their entire world is going to fall apart. And if you think about that everyone's feeling this, then it kind of makes you feel less alone, and it makes you understand that you probably know more than you do and you're probably overthinking it. If you do have imposter syndrome, that also means that you're challenging yourself and you're pushing your limits, you're pushing your abilities past where they naturally are. And this actually is a good thing. So if you do feel that imposter syndrome, what I actually think is that you're probably on the right track, and just continue to push, continue to develop your skills. And at the end of the day, finding a mentor is a really good way to kind of get over this. If you find someone that has a little bit more knowledge than you, you can usually talk to them about things, and they can even help you maybe understand that you actually know more than you do and that you're on the right track. And so I hope this was helpful for you. I hope that this kind of gave you some confidence that you're not alone and that there are people that are feeling the same things as you, going through the same thing as you. It's also great to find a community where you can talk about these things with others and maybe even find mentors. I do have a Discord. We're getting really close to 200 members, and we'd love for you to join. So if you'd like to join the Discord, you can scan this QR code, but I'll also put a link in the description that you can use to join directly through your browser. So thanks for joining me today in this cozy room where we talk about mental health. And just remember that you need to have balance in everything you do. And if you start to feel a little bit overwhelmed, that typically is an indication that you may need to be taking more time to just slow down and take a breath. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.